good.
Sorry,
Perfect.
I forgot
Thank
to hit
you.
recording. Could you
Yeah,
say that
no,
again?
perfect.
This is so nourishing for my
Yes,
soul. Yes.
yes. So so just to repeat, MK, and I feel very focused. And the other word that I feel is confident, that the changes and the team that you have and the progress that you've made over the last couple of weeks has been very clear and good direction. And I'm just really ready for action. I really feel that that's the next step. And so that's the next step. So that's the way I feel. What I bring is a lot of clarity. So I see, based on your mind map and the information that you've shared, I think we're going to get a lot of clarity today. And again, focus and action. And those are the three things that I'm just feeling right now when I looked at all of your notes. And it's very exciting because I think it's just ready to dive in and get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
There's my check-in.
Lovely. And listening to you, I have an analogy. I just want to say it, which is like, it's like the analogy of swimming, where until now, like, I know I want to swim, and I know I have to jump in and experience my body in the act of swimming, and take charge of swimming to get to where I need to get. And what I've been doing actually is building the pond with my team.
Yeah.
Having you there, because it's like, oh, you know what a pond is, right, MK? And you go, uh-huh. I go, well, that's good enough. Just hang out, hang out there.
Yep.
Let us know when the pond is built. Now the pond's there, and the team is like so aligned. And here's what we're aligning around. We need to, in an orderly manner, process 300,000 NT in the next couple months. It needs to go to the right place at the right time in the right channel, and people need to be able to find what they need to go on with that process so these projects happen. And it's only in the last couple of weeks that everyone gets that, like the team, right? Inside their cells, we get that is the task at hand, and it's a fine task, and we can do it. Okay. Yeah, so you're there, I'm okay, we can jump in. So I feel checked in and ready. You've seen the mind map. Yeah, so I want to hear what you see when you see the mind map and what goes, from your perspective.
Yes, so I see the pieces are in place. The thing I think, and so the pieces themselves, each of those sections that you outlined, oh, is that you on the video?
Nope.
Somebody's on a video.
It's my mother. Hi, Mother.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Somebody in the
I was trying to leave your.
Yeah, you were trying to leave, and here I am with the next person. That's sweet. Hey, MK, this is my mother,
yeah,
May.
You go right ahead with you. I'm just.
Hello there. Very nice to see you.
Yeah, hello.
That's lovely. I thought I wouldn't see you today, and now I see you. This is really a gift. Thank you, Mother.
Well, nice to see you too.
Yeah. Oh, but you said you're trying to get off. So should I close the session and start again, and that will help you get off?
No, I'll just, when you close it, I'll be off, I guess.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Nice to see you for a minute.
Nice.
I don't know who you're talking to, but
MK in California.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You go ahead.
Thanks, Mother.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, MK, back to us. And my mom may be listening. She's happy. You're welcome to listen, Mother. Maybe put yourself on mute. That's fine.
Well, no, it's all right.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Wonderful. How nice. That was sweet.
You've met my mom. She's wonderful. She knows what I'm doing.
That's fantastic. All right. So basically the pieces were there. You talked about Chinese or English, and then each of the different segments of choices, whether it's workshops and those kinds of things. So each of the pieces are there. The thing that I think we can really bring together is exactly that, how each of them can come together and how they fit in the adventure. I think of this very much like an adventure. So how the part that we're thinking of, like a spider web or a highway, or however you want to think of it. And each of these places is a destination or an experience along the adventure. And how do they all connect? So that's all that we have to do here. Next, before you can actually start building, and you can even start building before we get that done. But that's really the thing that's going to bring it all together, is how do they fit, and how can you comfortably go from one to the other and give those options. Do you want A or B or C? And then if they choose A, do they just go straight to A, or is there a little bit of introduction to A? Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah. So that's it. That's why I'm so excited and feel like it's time for action, because you know how they all fit, and that's all we have to do is put that together, and then it's ready to be built.
Good. How do we put it together? You lead, I follow.
Okay, so that's where the copy comes in. And my question to you, when I was asking, do you have this written besides the mind map? My question about that was in response to you asking for an intensive training on copy. And so usually
not training, very different.
Or
reference.
Got it.
Yeah.
So when you say, explain to me what you mean by reference.
Yeah. So what I do is look really quickly at lots of examples. And when I see like the thing that lands, it pops out at me, and that's what I use. So not a lot of explanatory, but examples that I can, like, I flip through. It's like, oh yeah, that, okay, this one. But now that we're talking, it's like us talking right now is more important than any of that. So I'm back.
Because I saw you go through my bot, and I saw you interact with one of the pieces. So that's just one segment. I have many different segments that talk about many different things.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking about a reference, that's what I would suggest, because there are two ways to look at this, and it depends on how you absorb. So do you want to read examples? Do you want to experience examples? Do you want to see a training on how to create your own examples? Those are the three that I would suggest. And I would say which one of those would work best for the reference you're looking for. I missed the
third one. Absorb, read, train, or third one is what?
Read, train, or experience.
Oh, right.
So to see other bots like mine and just go through them and see how they're connected and see how they interact. And then really this is just copy. So this is really just copywriting. And the reason I asked about the training is because I do have a specific formula and way to write copy for the bot.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain parameters that I typically put on my bots, mainly because people can write like they're writing a letter or an email, and they get really long rather than text-like in short bursts.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. And typically, so I have a system where I usually say each message before you have a typing delay or some kind of rest between the readings. And I'm talking now about the person experiencing your bot, the person actually taking the adventure with Studio Tainan. So you need to give them opportunities for breathers or breaks instead of a big old long text.
Now I'm gonna ask for that right now. A breather and a break. Whew, wow. Yeah. Okay, so I'm digesting, and where I am still is when you listed three things for absorb, read, train, and experience. It's like, well, all of them to me are experience. I can't not experience when I'm doing something. And then train in general, not, and the one that you've just outlined is your way of copywriting. Yes, please. There's a reason I connect with you, right? So I will be experiencing through the training. Would I like links to other people who have chatbots that you like, and so I can work through them? Absolutely. That sounds like, because now that see what you saw, what I did is put my toes in yours finally, like yesterday or the day before, and I know that was so much fun. I know that's a piece. That's one of my next steps is immerse in, like, bounce here and there in your chat because it's fun. So that's what I want to be building. So now I feel connected. You hear where I am with what you've all the huge amount you've just,
Yes.
poured into me.
Yes. And that's why when I was talking about training, I have in that access that I gave you, there's a training called Face Tweet. And in that Face Tweet are those very simple parameters that I usually use for every time. And I just say it. So it's not like I think it's in a slide, in slides. So there are maybe 5 or 6 different things that I typically use every time I build a bot. And so instead of overwhelming you with saying it all now, it's up to you. I can say most of those things, or I can say, go watch that Face Tweet. And the Face Tweet's only like maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Good. It's not a big, huge, long training.
Say it now and I'll go.
Fantastic. So if you could write write these down. These are the basic parameters. So typically I have 160 characters per message.
Yeah.
So you're going to type a message or, put in a message. You're going to have a typing delay or a link, or a button, something like that as the break. And then the next message, 160 characters. And that's not a hard and fast rule. That's a standard, let's say. I also typically do not use paragraph breaks in each message, unless it's necessary, if I want to make a point, right? Like if I'm going to say something and then I want to say the word ready, I might put a paragraph break so that ready stands out by itself.
Right.
And then using emojis or some kind of visual cues or fun is, or images, those are always fun in a chatbot, and break up the text so it's not all reading.
Yeah.
And then in each set of messages, you don't want more than, say, 5, definitely no more than 6 message blocks before you actually ask for them to interact. Ask for them to take action. So click a button or take some action to go to the next thing. So you're going to have questions. So with that, typically it's a 60-40 split. So 60% questions. And I think that's pretty much it.
60% questions, 40% like background or context.
So I actually put it the opposite, 60% leading statements.
Yeah.
So if you're going to give information, you're going to still want it to be more inviting of text. The copy should still be inviting, rather than just say, the Declaration was signed in 1776 by the Continental Congress, right? If that's just a statement, you would want to make it a leading statement. Did you know? Were you aware? When do you think? Some kind of a leading, even though it sounds like that definitely is a question, you're still trying to partake or give information, but in a much more inviting way.
Connected way, right.
Correct. So does that make sense? Instead of just stating things, like you're in an email, you just state things. This is much more an interaction. You invite someone into the conversation, and you do that with your copy. So it's 60% of those where if you need to give information, you're giving it in a way that's inviting, and 40% actual questions.
Got it.
All right. So those are the basics of just copywriting in a chatbot. That's and it becomes an art. You know your subject, you know what you want to impart, you know the person you're speaking to. And so that art of communication in this text-like
MK, we need you to say that last sentence again, because you broke up after you said, that's okay. After you said, you know the person you're speaking to. Can you continue from there?
Yes. You know this person you're speaking to, you know your subject very well, you know what they need. So you will uncover the art of that conversation in a chat bot as you go through it.
Yeah.
And as you write it, or your team writes these messages, I would love to see the beginning, like say the first maybe 3 messages before you get too deep in, so that I can help guide as that happens and help you uncover that art.
Yes, I think the first message is critical myself.
Definitely.
Okay, so you'll see the first 3 messages, so I'll just put it in the text here as the first, like what I think they are. Know that obviously you can say anything, because I know that's the critical, the first, and then also the page that it's on is the invitation to do chatbots. So the page that it's on will also have some information that will be resonant with what the chatbot says.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you. And that links back to what you said, your question of, do I have copy on all of this? And my answer is, everything depends on everything. That's why I need a chatbot. Because I do not know who comes, but I know the kind of people that come, and they cover a huge range, which is how I started with you. It's like the very first conversation. The people who knock on my door are stunningly diverse, and they know they want me, and I have a job to do to sort us out so they feel cared for, and they see how I can help them, but they don't get messed up on all the social clues that are happening when we're talking to each other. They can just, be straight with a bot, and then I can see where we've landed. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But there is a unifying factor. What is it that, how do you speak in the way that unifies all those different personalities?
Yes.
And that's basically your copy.
Yes.
When they read your chatbot, they feel at home because it's you.
Yes. Lovely. Yes.
And so when I say, I'm sorry, let me finish one thing about writing. When I say, do you have written, if you take each of those mind map sticky notes, and you actually form that into either a leading statement or a question, instead of just, would you prefer, you could say it just that simply as that, would you prefer English or Chinese? You can just say that. Or you could say, obviously the beginning part would be, welcome, we are so happy you're here, or some kind of introductory warmth, welcome, and then say, so that's what I mean. What, do you have those written, or are you just going to start writing?
Ooh, I want to hear your next words. Then say. You were on a roll. I'm typing everything you say.
Say, would the warmth and the welcome, and then you would say, would you prefer to continue in English or Chinese?
Yes.
And then they would choose. Yes. And then you would go on to the next, and the next thing would also have a transitional statement, right? And it would be, thank you, I'm so happy to speak to you in this language, or something like that. So that this is how you start uncovering that art of how you are going to speak to people.
Yes, I do a lot of that with my body now that I hear, the tone of my voice in my body. And so this is, I've just absorbed how that's going to shift when it's just language and images and things, like how I might do that.
Oh, wonderful.
Great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I know. I feel done. I feel like I need to do the 3, the first 3, you've sort of done them, but that and the next 3 right now, while I feel everything you've just downloaded into me. And then you said the training for copywriting. Is it inside of one of those 4 that I have right now?
Yes, there should be a video that says face tweet, face-tweet.
Okay.
Because these feel like Facebook and Twitter had a baby to me.
Okay.
That's how I first came onto this. It's like you're speaking like you're on Facebook with friends and family, but you're doing it tweet-like in short bursts. And so that's why I called it face tweet. So you should have it there. It should be a video in one of those sections.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you ready to check out?
Did you want to? It's up to you. Do you want to write those on your own, or do you want to write them with me along?
I'm thinking. Well, you've sort of got me started. I think I need to have my board and my Post-its, and like you've seen, I do with Post-its, and and get them, and then take a picture and send them to you, or take a picture or type them out. What's better for you? A picture's
Perfect.
okay?
Either one.
Okay,
Either
great.
one. Yep.
Great. So I feel like do that now and all will be well. So that's what I want to do. And
Yes.
I see where the video is. And you started to ask me another question, which now I wonder if you remember.
No, I don't remember, but it was, so the only other question I would have, just to keep us moving in this direction, is as you're writing these first three, again, think about how they're connected and how you can use some of those transition statements to help people get prepared for the next set of questions or the next information you're going to give to them or ask of them. And so that's the part I don't quite see yet completely based on your sticky notes, is how do each of those sections that you've written out in your mind map actually coalesce and connect. I'm sure you know them because you are in your world, but that's the next part that I don't completely see yet. But once you start these first three messages, I'm sure they will lead us to that answer.
Say more about coalesce and connect, please.
Yeah. So when you say, so first off, remember we talked about we need to start with the end in mind. Where are you leading people? And you're leading people to an appointment, to a workshop, to, the services, those kinds of things. So each of those are going to be a different destination. And Studio Tainan is obviously under the umbrella of what they all have in common. But how are they going to be presented in a way that they're not disparate thoughts, that they are actually connected?
Right.
So you're not going.
We're building the world that wants us to be healthy. Every service, every activity, every space. So we're always saying that to people. That's the link with everything. So if you come and work with us, no matter what we're doing, together we are building the world that wants us to be healthy. So
that's perfect. That's all I wanted to hear. That's exactly what I wanted to hear, because so once you state that and you say, then you can say things like, these are the ways that we help each other be healthy. Which do you prefer?
Slow down. These are the ways we help each other be healthy.
Which do you need right now? Which would you like to explore right now? However you're going to use that language. And then they will be able to choose from the options that you have.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, now I understand. That's the only part I didn't see the connection. And now I do.
Great. And the other piece, I said to you, the very first sentence I ever said to you, you will recall, which is we're working on the question of what will it take for all 8 billion of us to be in meaningful conversation?
Yes. So those are your pillars.
Yes.
Those are your pillars. And so those pillars, if you start with that, people will immediately feel at home. The people who need that will immediately feel at home, and they will be very excited and encouraged and intrigued to continue the conversation and to continue the adventure.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Perfect. Now it all makes sense. All you have to do is write those messages, use those transitions, remind them of that,
Whoops. You completely broke up. You completely broke up. Remind them of that fact, and then it was a jumble after that. Can we go back?
Oh my goodness! Remind them of that that connection, that conversation, and that health, and then the people who need that will feel at home and feel that they are in the right place. And then once you start with those messages, it's all going to just pour out of you, Jane. It's just going to pour exactly in the direction you need it to go, and you will write it, I think, very, very easily.
Thank you. Great. That's sort of a checkout, but I do want to formally
It
check
is.
out. So
Yes.
you might have just checked out, but you'll have another chance. So me,
Yeah,
why
ahead.
check out? Because it's so much going into all my cells. I need my mind to realize it's okay and update with everything. So how am I going to check out? How am I different than the beginning of this call? Oh, well, like I'm buzzing for one thing. And it's like, well, yeah. And it's the very first sentence I said to you. So I feel proud of myself from 2 months ago.
Yes.
Feel proud that I knew that like there's so many stories in this. It's like this person is not going to want to hear what I have to say, but I'm going to have to say it. Right. That's what I'm really doing. That's what I'm doing all the time. It's what we're doing all the time. So I said it. And so now I can say it again. And we both can feel the completion of that, that strange first conversation comes home now. And so, yeah, you've already written the first three. I mean, together here on this call, which just feels like I've just jumped off a diving board and I'm in that free air where all the twists and turns can easily happen, and then I'll hit the water. So yeah, I'll write out more. I'll put it on WhatsApp. Thank you so much for this. Really, it's like a hand. I get the picture of a hand in hand. It is like,
Oh, yay.
I've just held your hand and the power got transferred. The power that I knew there on offer got transferred. Okay, I check out. Anything more you want to say? Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes. And I hope I don't get jumbled because I'm coming out into the country. But I really do feel our first conversation, my number one focus was just to trust. And that's exactly what I did. It's exactly what we've done. And I feel that trust has led us right here to an actual product and action that is going to help many, many people. So I feel very comfortable, very confident, and again, just like the beginning of the conversation, ready for action.
Yay! Well, blessings to you, your carload of people, your dad, the doctor, everything that you've shared with me today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I trust in that as well. So I so appreciate you. I'm so happy we got to connect. I cannot wait to see what you write.
Thank you. Okay, take care. Happy travels.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.